Hello, football fans from all over the world. Welcome to the channel, Brazilian National Football Team Forever, the right place for those, like us, who are passionate about the history, achievements, and every detail that involves the journey of the most successful team in football history. Here, you'll find deep and interesting content, with analyses and curiosities that celebrate the glorious path of our beloved Brazilian national team. So if you live and breathe the football of the Seleção, don't waste any time and subscribe to the channel now. Activate the notification bell to stay tuned for each new video, and of course, leave your like. This helps us a lot to keep producing quality content for you and ensures that you won't miss any chapter of this incredible story. Today, we've prepared something very special. We're going to dive deep into the titles won by the Brazilian national team throughout its rich history. These are titles that have not only shaped Brazilian football, but have also influenced how the world views and plays this beautiful sport. Starting with the most iconic victories, let's relive together the greatest moments of the Seleção. These are trophies that marked generations, created heroes, and brought immense joy to millions of Brazilians. But, as everyone knows, the current moment of the national team is a bit different. The Seleção has been experiencing a World Cup drought. The last World Cup title was won in 2002, with that unforgettable victory marking the 5th championship. It feels like it was just yesterday, but 22 years have passed without another World Cup trophy. Many fans feel this drought deeply, but we must not forget that this dry spell does nothing to diminish the greatness of our Seleção and the 5 World Cups we have won, in 1958, 1962, 1970, 1994, and 2002. Let's start with the first great triumph of the Brazilian national team, which took place in 1958 in Sweden. This is a moment every fan should know, and if you're one of those who deeply study football history, you've surely heard of this legendary World Cup. Just imagine, Pelé, at just 17 years old, became the star of a team that, up until that moment, had never won a World Cup. The young promise showed the world what he was capable of, enchanting everyone with his skill, vision, and composure in front of goal. In addition to Pelé, we had other stars like Garrincha, Zito, and Didi, who played brilliantly and together, helped the Seleção lift the trophy for the first time. This title not only marked the beginning of a golden era in Brazilian football, but also put Brazil at the top of the global sports scene, creating the reputation we still carry today as the country of football. Have you ever watched a game from this historic 1958 campaign? Maybe you've seen some of the legendary goals and moves that have become etched in the memories of fans. For you, which player from that generation impresses you the most? 4 years later, in 1962, the Brazilian national team repeated the feat, this time in Chile, securing the 2nd World Cup title. This victory was even more significant because it was achieved without Pelé for most of the tournament due to injury. Even so, the Seleção shined with players like Garrincha, Amarildo, and Vavá, who took responsibility and played with grit and talent to bring another trophy home to Brazil. Garrincha, in particular, had a legendary performance, being the standout of the tournament and leading the team with his genius. Many say this was Garrincha's World Cup, and it's hard to disagree. What do you think about Garrincha and his role in this victory? What was the most memorable moment for you when watching this campaign? Now let's talk about the 3rd championship in 1970 in Mexico, perhaps the most celebrated victory in the history of world football. The team that defeated Italy 4-1 in the final is still considered by many to be the best of all time. And for good reason. After all, we had Pelé, Tostão, Jairzinho, Rivellino, Gerson, Carlos Alberto Torres, among other football geniuses. This team played in a way that seemed magical. The way they dominated the game and captivated spectators was something that went beyond just winning matches. Moreover, this victory secured Brazil's permanent possession of the Jules Rimet Trophy, a historic achievement for Brazilian football. The 1970 team is still remembered and revered worldwide. For you, what was the most striking moment of this campaign? Which Brazilian team has impressed you the most so far? Jumping ahead to 1982, a team that, although it didn't win the title, went down in history for its technical quality and captivating style of play. Zico, Socrates, Falcao, and other stars formed one of the most talented teams Brazil had ever seen. However, as we know, the dream of the title was shockingly interrupted by Italy in a match that remains one of Brazil's greatest disappointments in football. Do you remember that game? For many, that defeat was hard to accept, as the 1982 team played spectacular football. What about you? Was this Brazil's biggest World Cup disappointment? What did you think of that team that played so beautifully but couldn't win the title? After that disappointment, Brazil returned to win a World Cup in 1994 in the United States. This victory was very special because 24 years had passed since the 1970 championship, and Brazilian fans were hungry for a new title. The final against Italy was dramatic, decided by penalties. Who doesn't remember Taffarel's historic save and the crowning of stars like Romario, Bebeto, and Dunga? This team had a blend of talent and determination, and the penalty shootout victory brought an explosion of joy to Brazilians worldwide. Do you remember that tense final? What are your memories of that title, and which player impressed you the most during that campaign? Finally, we arrive at the fifth championship in 2002, a victory that established Brazil as the first team to win 5 World Cups. That team, led by players like Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho Gaucho, and Cafu, is still one of the most beloved by Brazilians today. Who can forget the final against Germany, where Ronaldo scored 2 goals and cemented his status as the phenomenon? This victory brought immense joy to the country and reinforced Brazil's dominance in world football. What was the most emotional moment for you in that 2002 World Cup? For many, seeing Ronaldo redeem himself after the challenges of the 1998 World Cup was one of the highlights. Since then, the Brazilian national team has not won another World Cup but has continued its successful path in continental competitions like the Copa America. The most recent title came in 2019, when Brazil defeated Peru in the final to lift the trophy. However, the distrust among fans has intensified in recent years, especially after a series of underwhelming results. How do you view the current state of the Brazilian national team? Despite the ups and downs, one thing is certain: the Seleção remains a giant in the world of football, and many believe it's only a matter of time before it competes once again on equal footing with the world's best teams. So, which of these Brazilian national team titles stands out the most in your memory? Which one is your favorite, and which player or moment is unforgettable for you? Leave your comment and share your memories, as we want to know your opinion. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel Seleção Brasileira de Futebol para Sempre, activate the notification bell, leave your like, and share this video with your friends. Let's keep following the journey of the team that captivates the world, with the certainty that new historic moments are on the way. See you in the next video.